Hey everyone, this podcast is part of Story Mode, the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed. You can support us and gain access to other great exclusive podcasts like Tom and Jeff Watch Batman by heading over to patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed, which is spelled like it sounds.
Hypecast mit Tom Reimann und David Bell.
Welcome. Hey, welcome to a brand new episode of Hypecast.
Yeah. Hey.
The show where we get hyped about stuff and things. I'm your co-host, Tom Ryman.
Ooh. And I'm David Bell.
Yeah, you're new Dave, Abe.
Wait, I'm new Dave. I thought I was new Tom. You're Tom.
I'm Tom. I'm taking Tom.
You didn't need to do that.
Did I?
Actually, you fucked me up because I spent... so last night... Thank you for asking me to be on. My real name's Abe Epperson.
Thanks for being on. Thank you, Abe.
Yeah, so obviously, awkward. No Tom. Abe's in the room. He asked me to co-host this. And so I did my due diligence, and I listened to every single Hypecast that there's ever been.
Sure, yeah.
And I think I can do a good Tom or Dave.
Okay.
So,
what do you want to do?
Well, I don't want to let you down, Dave. I don't.
Thank you.
You're
not going to let me down. There's nothing I'm so proud of you.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
You're doing great. I just want to be the best co-host I can be.
You're already the best co-host. It's great.
Really? No, you're just saying that.
No. Of course you are. You're wonderful.
Right. Before this gets too emotional, we should get into it, right?
All right, yeah, man, co-hosting away, getting us into producers.
Hey, you're killing it,
Jeez, you're killing it.
Oh,
God damn.
God.
Fuck.
Fuck.
We're doing so great.
All right, let's go.
All right. Do you want to name the Dave producers? Do you want to name the Tom producers?
I'll take the. You're Dave. You're Dave. I'll take the Tom.
Okay. Big thank you to Doc Garby. We all know and love Doc. Doc wanted to spell Doc with a K.
Ooh,
this time. I don't know how that plays into how we pronounce it.
I like it. It's edgier. It's got like futuristic vibes going. I'm loving it.
It's great. You still haven't given me a reply, so thank you to Tarrant. I'm not going to say your last name if that's your last name. I don't know what you want to be called. Reply to my DMs, Tarrant.
Yeah,
but thank you.
Open.
Thank you so much. Thank you to Del Griffith, the shower curtain fella.
Hey. Great name.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you to Lef. Nice and simple, Lef.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you to Seismic Charge Noise.
Love it.
Hey, you got it.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you to Jake. Thank you to Numino Ultra Microscopic Silico Volcano Coniosis Jones.
God, he's killing it. Dave. God,
yeah.
Dunking it.
I don't even have to look at like a little guide to know how to pronounce that now. It's just up here. It's up in the old noggin.
Locked in, dude. Locked in.
Thank you to the baby from Eraserhead. Always a pleasure. Thank you to Chiz Lily Tits.
Hey.
Thank you. Thank you to These 7 Bs. Thank you.
Bs.
Thank you to Ruizy. Thank you. Thank you to Davey Francis for The Revenge.
Woo! Let's
Great
keep
film.
it going with the hype. I want to
Do it.
shout out to MVB.
Yeah.
This man knows what I'm talking about. Fantastic.
Yeah.
But let's not forget about Chester's Prophet.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chester's Prophet. And let's not forget, definitely not Guillermo del Toro.
Definitely not.
Woo.
Thank you. Good to know.
Brian, who Tom knows, is
It's
also
true.
with us in producer
Yeah.
form.
Yeah.
Bob Grenville.
Thank you, Bob.
The mysterious.
You get a hearty A.
Hey, Steven. God,
Steven.
love Steven. Love him.
Yeah.
Down Home Chicken.
Peacock!
We got it.
We did it.
Hantumi the Confused Cyborg.
All right.
Cool name. Asking 7, you're on
Thank
the list. I'm reading your name.
Yeah.
Hey, fuck you. I'm Happy Ed. That wasn't me saying
Sure.
that. That's a name. And also, can't be complete without Tom and Dave are good writers. Follow them at Collider and Some More News. Tiger Drawers, Pratt, Thompson. Raindrops keep falling on my head.
Thank you. Those are 2 different names.
Oh, they are.
Yeah, that's a whole
That's
thing.
awesome. I was hoping that was one person, and that
That was
gonna
wonderful
rule.
that you sang it, by the way. That was awesome.
Hey, it was supposed to sing it, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, sorry
Tom
about
doesn't
those
know.
2. Tom and Dave are good writers. Following them at Collider and Some More News is one person. And
Yeah,
Tiger
who
Draws,
isn't
yada,
one of
yada,
us.
yada. But last but not least, Dan Hackroyd.
Thank you, Dan Hackroyd. God damn it! Great
Yes.
job, Abe.
Thank you.
I'm so fucking hyped.
I'm so hyped, dude. And this is
Yeah.
a good week. Look at all these trailers we got.
Yeah, look at all these trailers. We don't even have to talk about all these if we don't want to.
Fuck.
Some of them are kind of dumb.
Is it
but
weird
if
that
you
I
have-
do, though? I want to keep talking about them forever.
All right, we'll talk about every single one.
If you
that's starting with the trailer for Jackass Forever.
Wow. Yeah. All right. What are our takeaways with this one?
Okay. Are you a fan of the Jackass?
I'm not a fan. It was a part of culture growing up in America. If you were my age, they were ubiquitous. You know, they were
Yeah.
like constant. It was part of that MTV culture. You know, MTV Cribs, TRL.
Ooh.
All my
yeah,
late millennials know what I'm talking about.
I kind of put them in the same slot as like Beavis and Butthead, where it's like, yeah, we all love them, right? Like we all
Right.
love Jackass. There's something. I don't know what it is.
They know what they are. That's all
Yeah,
it is.
and it's just funny. It's dumb and it's funny.
Dumb. You know, I've never been into, you know, like, I don't know. I don't find it that funny when people are just injured. So some of their pranks, if we call them that, some of their, you know, performances are a little, I kind of find them, I never like laughed at them, but there's some legitimately like hilarious stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. So there's a timing to some of their comedies that are really funny. One of the big things in this trailer is they shoot a 49-year-old Johnny Knoxville out of a cannon. And just the way in which he is like poised, like in midair, is very funny. Like he
Yeah.
knows how to be blasted out of a cannon. I don't think anyone else can beat this guy. Maybe that's
sort of
I haven't
the-
seen all of the people being blasted out of cannons, so I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't say that.
That is sort of like what makes them so good is that they actually have comedic timing and knowledge. Like
Right.
they do just stupid. Like there's a lot that's just that's just somebody getting hurt, but they often like theme it in some way or create a dumb kind of Rube Goldberg situation with getting hurt. So they understand that it can't just be somebody getting hurt. Other times they're just like, we're going to give ourselves paper cuts, and it's going to be the worst thing you'll ever see.
Right. There's a sequence where they strap a man to a chair and they pour salmon and honey all over him and they let loose a bear. And that is legitimately terrifying. It's got to be one of the biggest set pieces.
It's I forget his name. He's the guy that I think they prank in every single, like he gets the worst prank every single time. I think that he's the one who they convince is being kidnapped by a cab driver in one of them.
Right.
Yeah.
I do like that, and they've kind of done this as they've kind of had more, because they haven't had any recent installments, but they've kind of done this kind of stuff, and Steve-O has a social media presence. I like that they've incorporated like the next generation, so to speak, because obviously these older dudes, the ones that they can do are more of like, all right, let's plan for this, and I got to train for this, and like they're doing all the stunt work for it, and they can't keep up with the speed that they were 20 years ago.
No.
So they bring in young dudes usually to just, you know, take
It's like
some of the
pro
off the
wrestling.
cuff ones. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But
where like the older ones are still trying to do the things, but you're kind of like, you're scared for them on a different level.
right. And there's also there's a moment in this trailer that I think is actually insanely wholesome to me, and there's a wholesome aspect to Jackass, wouldn't you say? Like,
yes,
their relationships to each other. There's a moment where Johnny Knoxville is like clearly doing like a documentary style, like going across set, and it just feels like that. It's like man on the street kind of camera, and he like turns to Steve-O and he's like, as long as we don't like knock out any of your beautiful teeth, and he takes off his denture, and it's like the amount of fun and the laugh and the glee that they share after that moment is just, you just have to go, these guys are friends. There's no way because we know they're not the greatest actors in the world, right? We know they're not pulling one over us. They legitimately like endearingly love each other.
Johnny Knoxville killing it in Men in Black 2. Remember that?
I'm not saying he's a bad actor. I'm just saying like it's not like something that I think that he would bring to Jackass, right?
Yeah.
He's going to be himself. I don't know. I'm excited about it. There's things that
I'm also excited about it. It's always for me this level of dumb glee that I just can't help. But it's like when a new Doom comes out. And it's like, look, this is what it is. We're just going to be shooting demons to metal music. And it's like, that's great.
Yeah, you know what you are.
Yeah, exactly. They know exactly what they are. They have a lot of fun doing it. It is like, there's going to be a bittersweet element, I think, to this. Because, like, one of them has since died. Steve-O's, like, recovered from addiction. They're all, like... they've all been battered. They've all gone through like
they're all used up, dude.
Yeah, they've gone through like the celebrity ringer,
right?
And they're coming out the other side. It feels like because I think they're not. Jackass isn't like relevant anymore. But a lot of like I've seen a lot of comedians sharing the trailer and expressing how happy they are to see this.
It's something interesting too, especially in comedy, because we have reunions, performative reunions of celebrities and old groups all the time in America. It's like a big deal for us. And comedy is tough because comedy from 20 years ago, much different than comedy now. Right. And I just wanted to point out, obviously, since comedy is one of the fastest altering adaptive kind of like mechanics that we have in play in terms of like the performance arts, in my opinion, it just moves so fast, and like that was hilarious 5 years ago, not funny anymore. Obviously they still have some of their old impulses. It's just in their DNA. It's who they are. Never did love that they kind of utilize the kind of setup of like kind of circusry, like freak show aspect of how they kind of manipulate little people. Obviously, these people are friends. They have been for decades. So I don't think that there's any bad blood or sinister things going on. It's just one of those weird things that you have to kind of notice and like acknowledge the optics of.
Knoxville was way more concerned. I know when he researches, like he'll literally sit down and research stunts to do. And I know when he would do that, he would watch a lot of like Looney Tunes and a lot of like
That's fantastic.
Buster Keaton, and they're more pulling from that era where it's like this style of comedy is timeless. Mm-hmm. So they're basically taking that and modernizing it. And I don't know. I mean, I haven't researched it, so if there's something I'm missing here, but I don't think there's been a lot of exploitation. Like even their pranks they do whenever they do like a on the street prank. From what I can recall, it's always at the expense of their own agony.
Exactly.
If that makes sense.
Exactly.
Like they never hurt random people. That's what always turned me off from Tom Green, is because he would harass people.
He would harass people, and it's not one size fits all. This is one size fits all because it's a closed system. All of the pain, all of the anguish, all of the things that go into the comedy are closed into the person that you're watching. There's no like grasping out of the screen like Tom Green or other man on the street stuff would do, where it's like strangers and like Borat and such.
Right. The only person was like Bam's father, which got really dark. but that guy was getting paid. So like,
getting paid,
by the movies were coming out,
signs-
he was participating in the stunts.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, it's clear that this thing that like his dumbass son would do to him, he had to like accept that this is how they're making their money, and like, yeah.
Absolutely.
It's still there's definitely a darkness in the Jackass group.
Yeah.
In the stunts.
It's real death on the
They
line.
they go too far a lot of times, and there's, I don't know, it's fascinating, and it's weird to talk about this way, because I think for a lot of people it's just the stupidest thing that was on TV for
Absolutely
a while,
true. Can be two things at the same time.
Yeah.
Because it is the it's the most base. But
Yeah.
just as the highest form of human can be equally base. It's just reminding us that we all are just like bodies, and there's something kind of beautiful about that, and always will be. Hey man, Shakespeare made fart jokes. We can shoot a guy out of a 49-year-old out of a cannon, and still it can be considered to be art. I think this is fine. Humanity rules.
Yeah. Yeah, we're pretty great.
Some of the time, we're very great.
Yeah. No, 100% of the time, Abe. No notes. There's never been any problems.
Yeah.
All right, well, next trailer then. This is The Last Duel.
The Last Duel.
Is this Ridley Scott?
It is.
And it's Ben Affleck and Matt Damon reuniting for the first time since, I don't know, the Jay and Silent Bob reboot that happened a few years ago.
Correct. I don't know if they wrote it. I didn't research that heavily into it, but it feels like something that they may have like collaborated with. It's just weird that they're both in it,
wrote it
after an entire career of being like, love you, bro. We grew up together, but we're just doing two separate things, you know? And obviously there's Dogma. Obviously there's times where they would like have the reunion tour, but they really do feel like the Beatles, right? Like small, tiny Beatles. That's what I think of when I think of Ben Affleck and Matt Damon, just because they really came in with Good Will Hunting on the highest of the high. They were considered like your career you can do anything with. If you want to be like an artist, do you want to be like a leading man and they both did kind of both. And, you know, it's just, but they had separate careers and they never really kind of crossed paths in like, hey, let's get a you know, tag team going again. This really does feel like, oh, it's a serious nod. This does look like it's trying to do like it's an epic, but it's also trying to be like dramatic. Jodie Comer, Adam Driver are also in this, so it's got like star power. Ridley Scott's helming the camera. Like we're talking like this is not a small project, and here they are. In blonde wigs. And
it's so
beards.
weird that all of this talent amounts to the internet being like, look at these dipshits.
And it's kind of true, though.
Yeah.
It looks weird because, look,
It looks really weird.
Ben and Matt, like, love most of your work. Matt, really love that you're really into water and the environment. There's so many things about your guys' careers that we're thankful for. It's not that you look dumb. I mean, it is. But you have to see it from our position. We're not you. We don't think about you all the time, but we think about you more than we should, because that's how celebrity works. And it's weird when we see someone take a serious stab at something and they have like the clear... We know how you look. We know how you look. So it's weird. I don't know why it is. I know that sounds silly coming from like, we're actors, dude. You know,
there's a couple problems. There's a few elements to it. Is I think both Ben Affleck and Matt Damon, they look modern. They just have modern face. Adam Driver, on the other hand, doesn't. A lot of these people, but
true.
Matt Damon and Ben Affleck just look. They look like a
Modern
parody.
face.
They look like an SNL sketch.
Yeah,
they look like Ben Affleck and Matt Damon in wigs. And so there's something silly about that that they just can't avoid.
Yeah, I've heard of modern face, and I know what you're talking about, but I couldn't tell you like what the definition of it is. I just knows it when I sees it.
Yeah, exactly. I want to note, by the way, that this was written by Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, and then a woman named Nicole Holofcener. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. And I just feel for this lady. I don't know anything about the behind the scenes. All I know is that she was in a room with Matt Damon
That
and
is
Ben
not
Affleck
true,
trying
and you know
to
it's
hammer
not
out
true.
this.
But that is the preferred imagining of those events, is that they're all around the laptop and just saying, do this, and they're pacing around, and Ben Affleck's got like
Sitting
a bat,
in the room
he's
together.
got like a baseball bat, he's wringing his hands and he's like really pondering every line, and Matt Damon probably has a pipe.
Yep. She has written a lot. She wrote Can You Ever Forgive Me? She wrote Enough Said. She wrote a bunch of fairly indie films. In fairness, so has like Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. They've both written things too.
Now, I know this is not true.
Just less things.
Because the time doesn't really work out, but it's so long, and like time, we have been in a cave for so long that it really does feel like they announced the Green Knight, right?
Right.
And then they quickly made a huge blockbuster movie in the time that the publicity photos of that first film came out. Like, it really does feel like a reaction, right? I don't know.
This movie?
I don't know.
I think they're very different movies.
They
This is
are.
about apparently the last duel
But there's
historically that happened.
There's an indie vibe to it. You know, it's like seems smaller and humbler. It doesn't feel like there are battles and such, and that'll show its budget. But it really looks like, let's really get in these castles, like get these actors next to a fire and talking. You know, like it has that indie aspect to it.
I'm guessing there's a lot, you know, it's that thing where like, I don't know, Game of Thrones happens and then a bunch of things are greenlit.
You're
that
probably
are like
right.
That,
You're probably right. I mean,
Yeah.
time, that's just not, Hollywood movies take years, not 1 year.
Yeah, and if this is a Ridley Scott project, that means
He wanted
been-
his hands into the pre-production, all that.
yeah.
No, I know it's completely off
But I
topic,
know how
but
it feels. I know what you mean.
Yeah, it
This
just
came out of fucking nowhere. I did know about it. I had heard there had been stories here and there like, oh my god, this movie is happening. You know, they framed it as like Ben Affleck and Matt Damon are writing a movie again. And then you'd learn like, oh yeah, it's also Ridley Scott.
So
Also they're starring in it. And then it just sort of, I had forgotten about it, and then it just fucking jumped out at me.
Right. I want to say, and this is going to be a little painful, Ridley Scott has worked in this genre and, like era before, and he did it with Robin Hood, with Russell Crowe, which, by the way, was 11 years ago.
Ooh.
That Robin Hood remake was 11 years ago. I don't think that... Every now and then you get one little fact that dates it. It just feels like it's more. It just feels like it's more for some reason. The number and the recency just don't match up. I have a confession. I did not hate the Robin Hood 2010 Ridley Scott version.
Ooh, I have a confession. I
not-
didn't see it.
Okay, then never mind. It's not good, but like Russell Crowe and Cate Blanchett, I could watch them forever, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Doing their thing, doing the thing that they're doing. I'm not saying I would watch Russell Crowe forever. I mean, maybe as like a weird experiment, but like I would watch their chemistry on screen for that.
Oh yeah.
For that film.
In general, I like to some extent everything Ridley Scott does.
Yeah.
I think he has good ideas, and I think it's not necessarily a good idea for business. Like Prometheus. I enjoyed Prometheus. If I had watched that film and Ridley Scott got to ask me like, so what do you think? Should we put this out as an alien movie? I'd be like, oh God, no. But it's great because like no one wants to see this.
But the
no
world
one
is
wants
so
to see
dense.
Prometheus.
He's so particular.
But it was he has weird ideas sometimes, and that's cool. I don't know.
Yeah.
Robin. Yeah, I guess I'll have to see Robin Hood.
It's
to the 2010 one.
I mean, it's like Battleship for me. It's like I love movies so much that sometimes even with these clear cash grabs or like obvious, films, I find something to love because what else is there in life, man? Let's just be happy.
Yeah.
Enjoy a Robin Hood.
Remember, what's the weirdest thing about Ridley Scott?
What?
That he directed Matchstick Men.
Mm-hmm.
I always forget that.
Yeah.
That doesn't feel like a Ridley Scott.
Matchstick Men and Gladiator are surprisingly close to each other in time, too.
Yeah. I also like both of them, but like...
He's all over the place, man.
He is all over the fucking place.
I mean, he's not Soderbergh-esque in any of his approach to filmmaking, but he's Soderbergh-esque in his interests in, like, why to make a film. I'm going to just do this. Why? I don't know. I haven't done it before. That seems to be his MO most of the time.
He's not
this.
a Richard Donner.
No.
But he's close in that, like, he's more of, like, he has a clear style, I would say. He's less of a chameleon, you know?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm sure this movie will be at least okay.
I'm sure it'll be over 2 hours.
Oh yeah,
it's
God.
Think it's Ridley, baby. So this thing's better be 2 hours and 2.5 hours or riot.
This might be a movie. This is probably going to be a movie that I just forget to see.
Yeah,
too.
Probably me too. And then I'm going to watch it one night when it comes on to streaming, and I'm going to be like, "Fuck yeah!" I'm going to pour a glass of wine and put on The Last Duel.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah. We didn't talk about the story.
Like
we didn't talk about the story or like clearly like what they're doing. Like it's
who gives a shit?
Who gives a fuck? Let's just we're high.
Look at that hair. Look at that hair.
I am just looking at Adam Driver right now.
Yeah.
And he's just fuming at someone. He's
Adam
just
Driver,
angry.
man.
I'm like I'm angry Adam Driver.
He's on a fucking rampage.
Yeah, he is.
It's basically everybody wants him, and he's given himself to everybody. He's like a Brian Cox type, where he's like, I'm gonna do 30 films a year.
Yeah. Do you want me to eat up this scene, or do you want me to be like a side player? And they're like, eat it up, baby. And he's like, you got it. I feel like him and Brian Cox is a perfect reference. Franchise players. That's what they're there for. Whatever everyone else is into. They have no.
Right.
I feel like I don't know anything about Adam Driver's personal life, and I don't think I ever will, which is obviously ignorance. Maybe he's up to some weird shit. I don't know. But I feel like he's just kind of like an acting robot. He does an excellent job, gets the fuck out of there, enjoys his life. That's a perfect
producers
career.
like, unwrap the Adam Driver. We need him for this movie. And they open a box and they unwrap him.
And he goes,
and they're like, are we sure we need him? He's fucking weird. And they're like, trust me. We need him.
Yeah. So lube him up because he's
dry. He's very dry.
His skin hasn't touched air for about 10 months. So you gotta like hydrate that shit.
Yeah.
And like let's get him into the rehearsal space. Yeah, he's fantastic. And I don't know much about Jodie Comer. She's the lead.
She seems like she's doing a good job.
Yeah, it's basically a medieval he said, she said. That's the whole idea, right? And
she's like, she's like, I thought Adam Driver is the bad guy, but
I think so.
It's Adam Driver versus Matt Damon, and then Ben Affleck is just there to watch and jerk off or whatever.
Yeah,
but he's just like, Matt Damon's like, he assaulted my wife, and Adam Driver's like, no, and then they fight, and that's one thing I'll say about the actual trailer and hopefully movie. It seems like it's focused on her. Yeah. Like, even though there's a lot of big name actors, it seems to be about her being like, hey, what the fuck?
Yeah, she has a line where she specifically says, like, you're going to get me killed because of how our bullshit male-oriented society is going to discard me the second that you're dead, and you're going to die because you're old and Adam Driver can kill you because you have this thing called pride. That means that you have to go fight for my honor, you piece of shit. You're killing me.
Yeah. I hope that the trailer isn't them course-correcting because, like, I think that did come up, people talking about, like, this, what a stupid plot. I'm hoping they always knew, like, it should be about her.
I hope it ends with
dudes.
like Jodie Comer like choking out Adam Driver in like some castle like closet.
I hope
just choking him out like you fucking die.
She chokes him out. She walks outside and there's just a nice car, and she gets in the modern car and drives the fuck
drives off.
Yeah. That's what I want.
Fucking nailed this one. We are killing it, dude.
Yeah, we're killing
Knocking down these trailers.
let's talk about the next one. We got a lot to go through.
Yep.
This is the trailer for Sweet Girl.
Oh man, I don't know if I need to talk about
Sweet
this one a
Girl.
lot.
Yeah, I have one thing to say. Is Jason Momoa, if he wants to be like a Schwarzenegger type, because I assume that's what he's doing. This is like action thriller of like the pharmaceutical company like killed somebody, his wife, and he's on a rampage.
Right.
That's all well and good. You know what? Give this script to Liam Neeson, Jason Momoa. Go do
Yes.
something stupider. Go do a fun, stupid
Do
thing.
something fun. That's the thing that he keeps whiffing on. He had that Apple Plus show called C. He was in a TV show called Braver.
Right.
Brave something.
It's cool that he likes. I feel like he has the same problem as Batista, where he's like, I really want to be in serious stuff, and it's like, that's great. You have muscles though. You have to do muscle things. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's just like, I mean, it's unfortunate. It really is, and I totally feel for the typecasting of this kind of thing. But there's also, like, I don't know. Who are we to say how these people should lead their careers? But if you really want, like, if... Maybe they just want to be in these movies because these are the projects they're interested in. It's just none of these projects seem very exciting to me. And so with actors of these caliber, I'm like, you have a golden ticket. You should be able to put your finger on the pulse of what like the audience on balance is really interested in out of you, and be able to deliver that just because, and like excel at it because we know you have the chops. We're rooting for you, but you keep choosing these like movies that I'm like, oh, okay, so it like it's an action movie with like a point, but like how good is that gonna be? Is that ever going to go up against like Spotlight or something like that, where they really dig into the material? Like, is it really ever going to do that? You know, no.
Right. No. It's like a movie like Chain Reaction, where it's an action movie, but they need like a MacGuffin, and so they made it like, oh, it's fusion power and the energy companies.
Yeah,
where they add like, oh, it's a modern scandal,
and it's like, why?
And that's what it feels like.
Why
They're
is it
like, oh,
important
pharmaceutical companies
in Chain Reaction though that it's like nuclear power or fusion power, because it looks cool. When you're fighting around it, it's got all this blue shit and there's water bubbling and like the bomb is like high stakes. This is like, I just got to save my kid, is how it feels like. And then he's going to go to town on him, which looks awesome. But like, you're also fighting, at the end of the day, mercenaries that are hired by a pharmaceutical company. I don't know why, because I know mercenaries, the whole idea behind them is they take money from whomever. But if it's like, if they're mercenaries that take money from like, I don't know, a mafioso boss, that just seems like they're cooler goons than if they're taking money from Pfizer. Like, it just feels that way.
Well, I don't know if this makes you feel any better, but one of the writers wrote Event Horizon.
Loving it.
And the other writer wrote the Book of Henry.
Well,
so,
you know, that's... I feel like there's a mix here, and I'm seeing it. I'm starting to see it.
Yeah, man, I don't know. This is gonna completely pass me by, right?
This one's gonna pass me by pretty quickly.
Yeah, and again, Jason Momoa, like, he should look... Yes, you're right. People can do whatever they want with their career. I'm not in charge. But, like, he should look at, like, hey... What's the most successful thing I've been in?
Yeah.
Oh, Aquaman? Maybe I should do more crazy, weird shit. You know?
We'd love it. We'd love it, Jason.
We'd love it.
Yeah.
I know you're listening.
And I've been a fan of you since Ronan Dex, baby. So don't act like I don't know what I'm talking about, Jason. I do, baby. Yeah, here's the other thing about this trailer. And I always have to talk about just trailers in generally. My favorite part is this might be my favorite trailer in the bunch. Why? Because they do the thing that they all do, which is they do Sweet Child of Mine, and it starts as that discordant, usually female voice, high reverb, you know, sweet child of mine. You know, it's like that kind of tone, right? And then they do the best thing ever, which is that they, in the face of that trope, we're now getting to the postmodernism of that cultural moment in trailers, where they just decide, fuck it, let's just play Sweet Child of Mine.
Yes.
And they do. They don't even care about their cover. It just becomes Sweet Child of Mine. Like, someone halfway through was like, this is cool and all, but you know what's cooler? Just that fucking Sweet Child of Mine, baby.
It also felt so unfocused because the movie's called Sweet Girl, and when the title comes up, I was like, "Oh,
shouldn't
call
be
it
a Sweet Child."
Yeah,
I don't know
going
why
on here?
it doesn't seem important, but you seem like you really have a high amount of importance. You repeat it like 80 times in the trailer. Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about this next trailer for Flea. Not the was he a guitarist? What does Flea do?
Flea is a bassist, but it's not that type of Flea. That's spelled with an A.
Yeah. This is a documentary. Flea as in Escape. This looks intense.
It does. I'm here for it. This looks awesome.
This is like solid 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah,
right
this
now.
is gonna kill it. I can already tell.
Yeah, I don't really have much to say about this except people should watch it. It's about a guy who, as a kid, was a victim of human trafficking, I believe,
in Kabul,
and has this whole really dark backstory that he hasn't told the people in his life now. It's completely animated because it's him telling the story, and they clearly didn't film it. It's an Afghan refugee.
If you've seen Waltz with Bashir, it looks exactly like that. Not only just in its artistic, approach to like the animation, but because it's like, or like Scanner Darkly, I guess it's like very realistic, like facial expressions. The animation is very good, but it's done for just like moments of someone sitting and talking to camera, like as an interview, and it seems similar. The only other reason I mention that is because the backgrounds and everything looks similar. Because if you've seen Waltz with Bashir, it's got this like Eastern European and Middle Eastern kind of like locations, so it really feels like a symbolic re-entry of that kind of thing, even though they're completely different things, talking about different politics. But it is a political film, and it looks like it's semi-documentary.
Yeah. So check it out.
I think so. I'm excited about this one. Its entry is Sundance, so that tells you another thing, is when you premiere at Sundance.
This was like my contender for movies that deserve more hype, but this is getting a lot of hype, so I was like, well,
yeah, it's also Sundance.
I'll stick it in here, and then
Sure.
Well, you want to move on to Naked Singularity?
Nothing would make me happier and more hype.
All right, this is not a trailer people have seen. I hope this is a really good movie. I'm not sure it is.
I'm not
but
sure.
It's got Tim Blake Nelson. It's got Bill Skarsgård, and it's got John Boyega and Olivia Cook. And John Boyega, like,
he looks
I just want to see him in more and more stuff.
It looks like a major entry in his, like, all right, this is my... Like, I haven't seen a lot of... This movie surrounds me. I am the protagonist, and I am the biggest, kind of actor in the whole thing. Like, I am not only the protagonist, but I'm doing a big offer. It almost seems like a Oscar kind of attempt.
Maybe.
But it doesn't look like it. I mean, it does and it doesn't. It definitely looks more modern.
Yeah, the poster makes it look more like a crazy crime movie.
Right.
Because it's about a public defender who gets involved with a heist with the Skarsgård, Bill Skarsgård acting like a weird lunatic. The poster makes it look really fun. It's really hard to figure out the tone of this.
It's really hard.
It's directed by the writer of It, the remake. They also wrote this movie. They haven't really done much. They haven't done enough to make you go, oh, that's the kind of movie it's going to be,
Right. Yeah, I think it's by design, it's kind of splitting. So, like, just so you guys know what we're talking about, the trailer starts very much so with what you'd expect out of a lawyer trying to fight the system, arguing with judges, courtroom drama. There's a shot in this trailer of him on a rooftop with a fucking katana. So it's like, okay, so is this Time to Kill, or is this like Ghost Dog Way of the Samurai. Like, what are we doing here? Like, it feels very different, polarizing images, I guess, based off the trailer.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I kind of want to watch it for this reason.
Yeah, me too.
John Boyega, by the way, Sweet Girl doesn't seem like a good movie in general, but that seems like something John Boyega could be in. I think of John Boyega the way I think of like Harrison Ford, which is like you kind of just have to be yourself, and I'm gonna love you in the movie.
Yeah, that's kind of true.
Like there's certain actors that come along, and it's like he's not like Jack Nicholson, but it's the same thing.
No. I know
like,
you're
just
talking about.
Just be you. Yeah,
he's definitely got leading man energy, but let's not forget that his first installment was Attack the Block. And he played Moses.
Yeah.
So
and
like,
it's not like him.
And he would like, granted, he was younger at the time, and he was playing a kid, younger than he actually was. But that was like a, kind of like low class, kind of Cockney-esque, like kind of South London kind of deal, I believe. And it was a big. All of the choices made by all the actors were very large.
Oh yeah,
and this is
he
a large.
Act.
Yeah, and his performance in this is huge. It actually, maybe it's just because the lawyer thing, but there is a Denzel Washington movie I cannot recall the name of that. They have very similar performances because it's almost like on the spectrum in terms of how like we show on the spectrum in Hollywood, which I know is very flawed, but he doesn't take a lot of time to breathe. He's very fast paced. He's kind of like stream of consciousness, the way he's delivering his lines. And because of that breakneck pace, it reminds me a lot of previous performances of other like lawyers. I don't know.
Right.
I can't remember the name of that movie. That's going to kill me. But anyway, he definitely is going for something here. And after just seeing him from like Star Wars and stuff, where it's just like, you just get in there and just you just be you. It is a little shocking. I don't know. Shocking's the right word.
I don't know. Overall, like, this is a trailer where I'm like, the trailer isn't telling me something, and I need to know what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where there's clearly more to this movie, or at least it feels that way, because it feels like a trailer where they're not entirely sure how to advertise it.
Yes, I get that vibe too, which makes me want to see the movie because it means it's going to be a unique experience, and we need more of those in 2021.
Exactly. Any other thoughts before we move on to another unique experience?
Nope. Let's do it, baby. You're killing it. You're killing it.
Yeah, you're killing it.
Thanks.
Oh my God, we're both killing it.
God damn. Demonic?
Demonic. This is who's doing this? Neil Blomkamp. Mm-hmm. And this is we covered this trailer before, and it was just a teaser, so we didn't know what the fuck it was.
Uh-huh.
This actually explains that it's basically the movie The Cell. Like, it could have been a sequel to The Cell.
Mm-hmm.
It's about a woman whose mother is in a coma,
mm-hmm.
and the cell's into her, and then the twist is she's demonically possessed.
Yeah.
So when the cell's into her, there's like demons, which I would argue, as silly as the movie The Cell is, it is the more elegant version.
It's more,
where it's just a serial killer.
It's also it's highly based off filmic metaphor. So there's a lot of like displays of like unreliable narrator, and like you see images that are more like, for lack of a better word, like poetically involved. That's how The Cell kind of operates. It just looks like she's in like The Sims for most of it. It's like a very literal, like, we are digitizing your brain waves and you're connecting somehow through this machine. Kind of like Source Code, if you remember that Duncan Jones film.
Yeah, it's weird that it looks like this. Because The Cell just did like, you're in a fantasy world.
Exactly.
You're in a dream world. There's something about CGI in horror that really doesn't go together a lot of the times. Not all of the times. Just a lot of the times.
When you see the clips of like the monsters, they look
pretty practical.
They look practical, and not only that, there's like a filter on everything. twice I'm bringing up Scanner Darkly. It reminds me of that. That they like put a filter. It's got like, I don't know. You just have to watch the trailer. It has a unique look about it.
It looks like a Scanner Darkly or Waking Life. Almost.
Right. It's Uncanny Valley
rotoscoped
photography as opposed to like Uncanny Valley like facial expression. Because the faces in the animation look pretty good. It looks like it's just they just put a filter over it, and they put different filters, and like there's floaty little like dust motes and stuff. But there's also in the trailer we're getting it cut to footage of monsters from the movie that are in like the more crisp real world or like the more like reality based lens. And so that makes me think that the whole movie is going to be about the loss of her own reality. Like she's starting to see like, oh, I'm seeing monsters in the real world
that's
when
what
I'm
I'm
outside of the machine. So I think that it's very much on the table that this whole movie is going to be, from the jump, a total recall. The ending is like you were in the machine the whole time.
Neil Blomkamp,
I'm just going with it.
He likes dealing with like heady sci-fi shit. Not that heady, I guess. He likes the thing I like about him is that he does things that I hadn't really seen before. He's somewhat creative, like not amazingly creative, not like, oh my God, this is the most original thing ever.
Right.
It's just he does try to make things look not like something that we've seen.
Absolutely.
And I have this comment about the next trailer when we get to it, but like there's this weird thing with horror where it's like, really? We can't think of anything else but ghosts and demons? Like you can't make a horror movie about like something cool? And that's mostly a issue with mainstream horror. Right. There's definitely some indie horror that's like The Ritual. The villain in The Ritual is one of the coolest things I've seen. There's some cool shit, but even in indie, a lot of the times it comes down to demon or ghost. Right. And this is no different, but at least it's like through an interesting lens, I guess.
Yeah. I don't think it will actually be like a total recall. I think you're right. I think it's going to keep its head,
Yeah,
but it's going to stay on Earth. But like it's very strange that it does choose to like reality bending is not something that Blomkamp has really done before. He's done because he's District 9 and what else?
Elysium.
Chappie. So you're right. He does like doing like whatever's the hotbed topic, or like what's happening in films right now. He's always taken that and said like, let's go one step further, but he's never done like a meta narrative. So it probably is just going to be like they beat the demon.
Yeah. I predict this will be much like The Cell, like one of those movies that'll just be kind of a fun rewatch every now and then. I don't think this is going to scare me. I just think it might be a fun, like if you're a horror movie junkie, I can see this being a delightful addition, Yeah,
I would agree with that.
Yeah. All right. Well, speaking of horror, Malignant.
On the other side of the spectrum, we got James Wan on.
Yeah, and this is where I had this issue because James Wan is he's really good at directing horror. He's good. He's not the best. He's not my favorite.
He's best at producing horror, I would say.
Yes.
But he is actually he's very talented as a director. I think he's very transparent. He knows to be transparent. And by transparent, in filmmaking terms, I mean, like, he's not going to be loud with his filmmaking where it's like you're constantly going like, look at the shot is crazy. He's very like conventional. All right, I'm going to use my backgrounds and my foregrounds and my like lighting to scare you because I'm going to draw your eye somewhere and then surprise you with something else. And he's very good at that. He understands that very much so. And it's going to be that.
Here's what kind of bothers me. The tagline of this that they're pushing is a new vision of terror.
Yeah, I hate
and
when they
that's
do that
where
shit.
I'm like, really though?
Yeah,
because he makes like modern day versions of basically your just baseline horror, like your let's go on a date horror movies,
right? Yeah.
And he makes them very well, but he's not he's not a pioneer. At least he hasn't done anything that has made me go, wow, I've never seen anything like that. This is about a fucking demon again.
There's no film
or something
that has ever lived up to the hype of a new vision.
Yeah.
Not even Kubrick. Not even for sure. When you string it all together, very good. And could be seminal in its genre. Scream,
I would argue there are movies that set, like, The Matrix, where it's like, we haven't really, even The Matrix is derivative, though, of...
It's like, this is going to change everything. Maybe it will for a few years, but then something else will. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being a little harsh on it. But we haven't seen it, and nothing in the trailer makes me go, like, I've never seen a thing like that before. We've gotten so postmodern, man. There's nothing that... Maybe it's just getting old naturally, because I'm sure younger folk are like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. This looks fine to me. But it's just like we're gotten to the level of postmodernism, especially things like horror and sci-fi and like high concept stuff, where it's like we've done the meta narrative so often that it's like we've broken it, and then we've regurgitated the brokenness back at the public so many times that the only new things under the sun seem to be just like, but like mash up the genres a little bit. Like, what if it was like a horror, but also like, I don't know, like it was like a Disney princess movie or something like that. And you're like, well, I haven't seen that before. And it's like, that's a new vision. And it's like, nah, I don't, no one's making those.
That's the thing is, like, we've gotten to a point where we've seen everything, and someone like James Wan has grew up seeing everything.
Right, exactly.
And so it's so weird that the new vision of horror is a movie about a woman being scared a bunch by a demon that looks like it belongs in any other movie. Like, it's that thing of like, there's been like 6 movies that came out this year, horror movies, where if you mash together the trailers, I wouldn't be able to tell. Mm-hmm. It'd be like, oh yeah, these all look like they're all darkly lit. They all involve a scared young woman. Mm-hmm. They all involve like a door opening and like fingers coming in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, it's so, like, I don't know. I've said this before. I'll say it again. The movie Caveat is available on Shudder. It's not extremely original, but it's nice to see something done, that like scares done in the moment, scares done that I hadn't seen before.
Yeah. Cause that's what I meant with the new vision like, there's no crazy new way to scare people, I don't think. Like,
there isn't though.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we can have a circumstance that's like that feels fresh. I'm just saying that there's no, you're not rewriting humanity. There's only like surprise and suspense and, fear. But
it's weird that like, okay, you're going to make a movie full of jump scares, right? And it's going to be darkly lit. Why not make the villain something that we just haven't seen before?
Yeah.
Why not make like, that's what's weird to me, is that it's like in the writing process where it's like, okay, it's a demon and she has visions or whatever, and there's like a lot of CGI in this, and everything just kind of looks samey, and it's like, I don't know, why not make it like, I don't know, an evil bear.
Yeah,
like,
you have to admit,
do whatever,
you're
like
preaching to the choir. You have to admit that you and I in this conversation, we're a bunch of sourpusses. We're both screenwriters, and we typically write something that we haven't seen before. In fact, most of my notes I get back is write something more conventional, and I'm like, no, because I'm an artist, like. And
but here's the thing:
we're gonna have a stick up our ass about this shit.
You could write a conventional thing. Or you can write a conventional thing with unconventional elements.
That's great writing. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Is like this trailer, I'm like, can you at least make the thing look different?
Yeah.
Can you make the rules different?
Can you do one thing uniquely?
Yeah, and there are movies that do that today. Again, The Ritual is a movie that's just a monster in the woods movie. Mm-hmm. Then when you see the monster, you're like, fuck, I haven't seen anything like that before. That thing's insane. It's like, just try. Just try.
Right. And obviously, as the caveat goes, we haven't seen it. Maybe it does all these things. We're just like, here's the State of the Union as we see it, I think.
I'm part of the problem because I'll see any old trash. If it's a horror movie,
You'll
I'm going to see Demonic and
on
Malignant.
day one.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Speaking of things
Like
I'm
Old,
going to see.
I'm going to go to Old the first weekend Old comes out. In
Yeah,
fact,
you are.
wait, this is coming out on Friday, right?
It is.
Happy Old Day.
Happy Old Day, everyone.
I'm going to see it this weekend, which
May
means
you age.
I'm going to do it. And they're going to learn. What lesson is that teaching Hollywood? That old works. More old.
Here's what I'm going to say, having not seen Old. It is kind of the one thing I respect M. Night Shyamalan for. He takes some fucking swings.
Hell yeah.
And you know what? I will always reward that.
Always.
I will always reward someone who's like, I don't know, here's something you haven't seen before. And it's like, you're right, M. Night. This is, for better or for worse, something I haven't seen before. Mark Wahlberg running away from wind? Sure, man.
Fuck yeah. Fucking, that's your power, I guess.
Yeah.
So, Malignant, nothing in the trailer is definitely making it seem like generic horror. It's got a good in the hands of a capable
got a great
director.
yeah.
But I'm out of what I've expected out of this James Wan's career and what we're seeing on screen in the trailer, I expect you're gonna get another thing that looks like Insidious.
Yeah. Speaking of shit, I'm definitely going to see. This next trailer is for a Peacock show. Dan Brown's The Lost Symbol.
Dave, can we watch this together? At least like the first few episodes or something?
Yes.
I want to just experience it with you. This is right up our alley. You and I love dad shit. We love dad shit. We've bonded over this for years now. I want to watch this. I fucking hate Dan Brown shit.
Yes.
And I always come back like a fucking loser. I come back every time.
I can't wait. I can't wait for this horse shit. They got young Dan Brown played by some guy. Don't know who he is.
He's actually
who gives
great.
A shit.
I like this guy a lot. It's weird. He was also in.
He looks like Ryan
Fear
from
Street.
The Office.
The reason I know him is he was in a AMC show that no one knew. I want to say AMC show that no one knew about. It only ran like 2 or 3 seasons and it was forgotten, but it's one of the better shows on television, especially the first season, Manhattan. It's about the Los Alamos atomic bomb project.
Okay.
He plays one of the scientists and he's very good. So yeah.
Just to speak of how generic he is, I just watched all of the Fear Streets. And now I'm looking at his credits. Yeah, I'm like, oh, that is the guy from Fear Street.
He's the sheriff.
Yeah.
So he kind of sneaks by. He's playing Robert Langdon, same character that Tom Hanks played. So it's like, as we know, they're trying to do a Clancy thing. They're trying to do a Jack Ryan. They're trying to do, like what other archetypes are there that do this?
What do you think? One season for this?
I think so.
One and done, probably.
I'm gonna be there the whole time.
Yeah, it's on the right channel, Peacock. The channel for the old.
It's absolutely right. It's the perfect channel for it.
Yeah. I'm actually thinking of Paramount Plus, but Peacock also works.
Because Peacock does do like a very old thing, but they're trying to stay with the times. Did you see any of their Brave New World?
No.
With Spider-Man, what's his face?
Spider-Man, what's his face? Classic actor.
Yeah. It was very generic, visually amazing, and like the scenes they did as good as they could because they were like building a world that is so large that I'm like, buddy, you're never gonna get there. Like TV show, right. You are gonna try to make this huge world and nothing's gonna pay off because you're gonna get canceled. Even after like 3 seasons, you couldn't wrap this shit up.
Oh yeah.
And Dan Brown's all about mystery, so every episode is gonna be like, what's this mean?
Yeah. Mystery and booby traps. That's my favorite thing about Dan Brown. Mm-hmm. Is it's like mystery and like occult killings. Like what a dumb world he's created. Where where this asshole, this symbologist is like the Indiana Jones.
It's gonna be
It's
so
so
good.
perfect.
There's gonna
Where
be
they're like, no one else
Dave,
can solve this murder.
Are you ready to be put down the thread of leading to a global conspiracy, probably run by the church or church that is
one of
never
many that
solved
keeps-
because it's gonna get canceled, and we're not gonna know how or why they're involved. We're just gonna see like a monk who's like doing some weird shit, and we're gonna be like, I bet he's involved. And that's all we're gonna get. They're gonna cut us right off at the heels.
Because this is one of those shows where like there's so many shows happening,
right?
And then to see this, it's just like, come on, like you really think this is gonna be a thing?
Here's the thing.
By the way, Eddie Izzard is in this.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
As like a wise colleague, it seems. You know, so these things are based off Indiana Jones, right? But it's less the B serial aspect and more of the puzzles, National Treasure, and something that a lot of this genre has been penned before with old white dudes, Nicolas Cage and Tom Hanks, and the love interest is always awkward.
Yeah.
When we look at this guy,
they're always
this guy
like 20
fucks,
years
right?
younger.
This guy fucks straight up all day.
This guy fucks straight up.
I mean, he looks like a slightly older, dude who could pass as like a frat dude, like a Stanford frat dude.
It's funny how when Indiana Jones came out, the whole point was he fucks. That was the whole thing.
We knew.
And then they were like, so like that, right? But with like an old guy who doesn't.
And
fuck.
it's like that.
So
really
they got Tom Hanks.
us. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're definitely going to have a love interest in it, which makes me excited because one of my favorite tropes of these types of genres are dude who can do puzzles so good that like women just want to fuck him.
Right.
Like, fuck me, puzzle guy.
Valerie Curry is in this, and I'm assuming she's the fuck me puzzle person, but who knows?
Who knows? But, that's what I didn't even read the thing. They said it follows the early adventures of young Harvard symbologist.
Yeah, it's young Indiana Jones.
It's young Indiana Jones. That is even better. Everything's great.
I can't fucking wait.
I can't wait, Dave. We're going to have a date. We're going to watch the first 2 episodes for sure.
Yep. And then it'll be canceled after the first 2 episodes. Yeah.
God, I love it. I've never loved a movie so much as Angels and Demons that I've tried to watch 3 times, and every time at like the 60-minute mark, I fall asleep. It's like clockwork.
Same here.
It's clockwork, and I love it.
Or Inferno. I think it's either Angels and Demons or Inferno, or one that I cannot get through that movie.
Until you mentioned Inferno, that was out of my mind.
Yeah.
God.
We should watch these movies on a Friday night.
The Lost Symbol. Just white guy hype. Just white guy
hype.
Classic white guy podcaster hype.
Finally, a white guy protagonist in a show.
Fuck. And
thank God.
Oh, and it's about Harvard and shit. Like he's the best. Why? Because
he's so smart.
Of a broken system that's frankly outdated.
Nerdy white guy to the rescue.
Fuck me up. All right.
All right. One last trailer, folks. Mm-hmm. Not as hype as Dan Brown's The Lost Symbol, but I've heard a little buzz about this. The trailer for Dune.
Yeah, it came out today.
Yeah. Spice.
Have you read this book?
No, never.
But you have seen The Sting.
Yes.
David Lynch version. Alan Smithy, I apologize. Yeah, so what are your thoughts on Dune?
I don't know, man. I'm excited for, I love this director. I like anything that's long, boring, and like epic like this. So I assume I'm going to like this.
Right.
But I would not blame a single human being for A, not liking it, or B, not even watching it, Mm-hmm. This is a big ask of society. I'm happy movies like these are getting made. Like the new Blade Runner didn't make any money, but the studio was we love it.
Yeah.
And this is another one where they're like, fuck you all, we're making it.
It's
like this director gets away with it.
Yeah, he does. But it's because he sees films in a very unique way. I really like this director because I think that he has something that a lot of Hollywood of this scope like these branded iconography, the Harry Potters and the whatnot, like they just don't have. He does. He makes it film. He brings it back to the scenes. I could talk about him forever, but I'm not going to right now.
I think he's going to be one of the few directors that will be remembered from this era.
From this era, I absolutely think so. Yeah.
Yeah, he's doing Cleopatra next. My only criticism is
crazy.
Go back to making something like Prisoners.
Yes.
Like make something more you.
He will. I know he will. You can give someone all the money, but you're not going to change their stripes, man. You can give a leopard all the money you want, but you can't change the spots, man. Surprising no one, just a huge Dune fan. It was first sci-fi book that I ever read that I absolutely fell in love with sci-fi. Like I was like, I need more of this immediately. Yeah. It was like the first one, and it's not the best one. It's just my first, so I'm gonna remember it. And it's one of the what they talk about all the time, especially because David Lynch, one of the best directors of the modern age, he couldn't crack that chestnut. I don't think we're gonna see. I don't think the people who read the book, because it's a very good book, are going to even be happy with this. But it does look like it has all the greatest hits, and it doesn't look like it's just a thing where it's running through the motions of doing like, okay, we got to have that, we got to have that, we got to have that. They do, you see in the trailer, the connective tissue that makes a film not feel like, I don't know, Space Jam 2, where it's just like, and then this happens, and then this happens. You're like, because the trailer pops back and it goes out of time, but it pops back and forth. And because I know the story, they are proceeding chronologically, but they're also doing the flashbacks, which is crazy because that's the one thing that no one has really tried with Dune yet, is that we have the Paul's dream state, but we also have the stories told in like chapter to chapter from the book, completely out of sync until a certain point. And, I don't know if they're probably, I don't think they're going to do a Jessica thing because that's nearly impossible. But so people who are fans of the book, I think no one's going to be happy, but I think no one can't, it's not that Dune can't be filmed. It's just that Dune's too big and it does so many things that are easier in the book format that films will just be able to nail 60% of Dune. I'm hoping that this is a good 60% is all I'm saying. Okay.
I guess my only thoughts on Dune as a story is that the characters' names are hilarious.
Sure.
They sound like a spoof sci-fi because there's like, I'm looking at the names and like Jason Momoa is named Duncan Idaho.
Mm-hmm. That's Duncan Idaho.
Gurney Halleck. Like they're like weird Star Wars names. And then there's Paul.
There's Paul Atreides.
That delights me.
Yeah.
His name is just Paul.
Yeah, it's so what this movie was, or what this book was originally about, was like 1960s, what was going on in like Northern Africa and the Middle East, right? And that's something that the casting of this film has taken a lot of heat of, because there's zero Arab kind of cast, a lot of people are just pointing out that, like, oh, Zendaya's in it. Great. Love Zendaya. But also,
a lot of honkies.
That she has nothing to do with the culture that this movie, and it's the reason that it's not like just, it's a big motion picture, get more representation. No. It's in the blood of the story. It's like actually, it's like Lord of the Rings, if like J.R.R. Tolkien said publicly, this is about this particular war or what was going on here, and I'm going to name all of the cultures and use their art and use their, their philosophies, and like this character is clearly this figure from history and saying that shit. that it's like you're taking from a culture, not like that Frank Herbert was like saying like, I'm going to take this in this mind now. I mean, he probably had some really racist views because you're a sci-fi writer in like the 50s, 60s or 60s.
Yeah, they were all monsters.
They're all monsters, as we found out. Over time, that just seems to be an unwritten law now. But it's like clearly he was trying to embrace and say like, this is a beautiful story, I think. Or at least that's the product of it. That's how I read it. And they completely just like, nah, it's going to be a bunch of honkies.
Right. Yeah, that kind of sucks.
That kind of sucks. Kind of really sucks.
For me, it's one of those things where for me, I'm just like, oh, Dune, the movie with all the honkies in it. Oh, and they're remaking it. Looks like they're staying true to the movie.
Exactly.
Like that's like I don't know any of the background, so me, a big dummy, I'm just like, this looks like fun. There's a big worm.
I think one of the reasons, and if I'm going to get real with you for a second, is the problem is that it thrives on star power. Look at the fucking cast.
The cast is incredible.
Incredible. One
Everybody
of the greatest
wants to work with this guy.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing.
And, like,
he can fucking, after, that's the thing. Blade Runner, maybe it didn't make a lot of money, but boy, did that, like, send out a signal to a lot of other talented people who are like, I need to be in one of his films.
Yeah, everyone talks about him as being, like, revolutionary, like, or a visionary.
That's the thing. Like, you go back and look at someone like Kubrick, who, like, 2001, like, was a bomb. Like, it was a flop.
Yeah, insane.
And it's but it is and it isn't, because that's a movie that, like, film nerds look back on, like myself, and love. Yeah. But if you're, like, going out to a movie and you sit down and watch that, you're going to be like, what the fuck is this?
The fuck is this?
The fuck is this bullshit?
Yeah, you're right. You're right about this.
Yeah.
I just wanted... you keep going.
Oh, I just... This guy, like, it's the similar feeling, where it's like, these movies are for, like, film nerds. Except, well, not all of them. I would say Prisoners, Sicario, like, there's a few, but then, like, Enemy, it's like... Like, Jesus Christ, like...
Fucking love that movie, dude.
I love Enemy, but, like, I can't ask anybody to watch that, you know?
No, not at all.
I wouldn't sit with my parents and watch Enemy.
Me in the darkness, because it's like the darkest thoughts. It's horrible. Yeah. It's the whole idea is horrible. That's why it's it's a great horror movie, because it actually makes you terrified about your own thoughts. Like, I don't know. Maybe
No, it's a great film.
Yeah.
It's just like, that's more for, like, nerds.
Yes.
Than, like, general audiences.
But I'm a fucking nerd, and I'm not going to apologize for it. Look.
Neither am I.
Was that... Neither am I? Is that a question?
Neither am I.
Are you asking a question? Are you...
No.
Yeah, okay, good, because you should...
Neither am I.
You should, okay, okay, that's just a weird line reading, that's all. I'm just acknowledging it. The last thing I wanted to say is just that, like... The cast is incredible, and the reason it's incredible, they're all stars. They're all amazing. Zendaya, Timothy, Charlemagne, whatever. Sharkman. You know, like, they're all fucking great, right? And they're all good at it. Here's the real problem with the representation thing. If they wanted to do that, right, give me the Arabic descent versions of all those people. You're not getting star power. That's the true problem, is that the representation has been this way for so long.
That's what Ridley Scott
representation in terms of stars.
Right, that's what Ridley Scott really clumsily was trying to say, I think, about Exodus. Mm-hmm. But he used the term, I can't get Muhammad so-and-so, I think is what he said.
Jesus, that's a bad way of saying
Jesus
that.
fucking Christ.
It's like, he's right fundamentally about just the concept.
Yeah, there's ways to say it as a supporter, where you're like, you're right. You guys are right. The studios won't let me, but they can't. They're not allowed to, like, throw the studio under the bus.
But he's ripping up. He's peeling off the wallpaper on something that we really need to hear, I think.
Well, it's the thing where literally everybody, it's star power over anything else.
Exactly.
It's
That's
why
the
Scarlett Johansson shit happened. Yeah. It's like when people criticize Great Wall and being like, oh, they got a white guy to do this.
Right.
It was a Chinese production company, and they were like, yeah, because he's Matt Damon. We wanted Matt Damon in our movie.
Yeah.
It's dumb.
It's dumb.
It's a dumb thing.
It's because money ruins.
I kind of hate it.
Money ruins it. But like, until we change that, which I am a big fan of. But you know, obviously that's how our society is run. It's like everything is about sure things for this industry, and it just until we get to the point that we have enough movies where there are stars like that representing all types of people, then we'll be like good to go, and it won't be a problem. Let's get there.
That said, I don't know how much pull he had, but someone like this or Ridley Scott could just cast a Middle Eastern actor and make them a star.
That's exactly right.
They have that.
They could have taken that chance because they had
to pass the buck to be
chances.
Right, for them. I actually Denis Villeneuve, like, I don't know what he's said about this. I haven't seen anything, but
I'd like to hear it.
They have the power to
they
change
can find
things.
new people. I know that there's something amazing about, like, literally everybody is somebody. You know, all of the speaking roles are like someone who's pretty incredible at what they're doing.
They don't have to use the same 20 white people for every movie.
You don't need to do that. Like, I understand it with the Atreides family, you know?
Right. The only person I would say don't recast for selfish reasons is Dave Bautista, because I want to give that guy every chance to do serious acting. Well,
the weird thing with that is that the Barconans are white colonizers. The whole function of, like, his side is that they're all a bunch of he's the Sting.
Oh yeah, he's super white.
Yeah,
they made him super duper white.
Yeah, exactly. They put him in whiteface. It's pretty incredible.
They put him in,
but it's all the Freemen. It's all the people who actually live in Arrakis, the Dune planet, the worm planet, the spice planet. That needs to have that. They could have solved that representation there.
Yeah. And then you still have Dave Bautista, is what I'm hearing.
You can still have Dave Bautista. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. I just want him to have every chance. I love that this director has looked at Dave Bautista and been like, I need to put him in everything.
Right, that's true.
Yeah, and that makes me so happy.
Why not?
It makes me so happy that Dave Bautista basically does dumb action movies, and then a genre of, like, classic sci-fi.
He seems to be choosing
sci-fi
them a
epics.
lot. Even though they're both in this movie, he seems to be choosing movies a lot better than, with the exception of, like, maybe, I don't know, like Stuber. Way better than Jason Momoa.
Yeah. Well, Dave Bautista also has come out and said, like, I want to be a serious actor, but I get typecast because look at me. Yeah. And he understands that. He's like, okay, well, I'll be in your stupid Army of the Dead or your Guardians of the Galaxy, and he's killing it in those too. But, like, I'm really happy that this director is like, I see you, Dave Bautista, and I will put you in my movies as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that he got to have a touching scene in Blade Runner. Like, that was great.
That was a good scene. Yeah, man. We're in good hands with this director. It's a hard movie to do. I hope it's confusing for some people.
It's not going to do well. That's my prediction, and it's going to be great.
It'll do well. Yeah.
It'll be great, and it won't do very well.
I think that's as much hype as we can fill it with.
Yeah.
It looks amazing.
Yeah. Get on to the news stories, right? News stories. First, we got to name some more patrons.
Don't we have some people to name?
We do. Hey, big thank you to the Kool-Aid Man. Or, sorry, I fucked it up. The Kool-Aid Molotov says, fill me with the blood of your billionaires and drink deep, my brothers. Yeah. I'll see you on the front lines. Big thanks to E.T., the extravagant terrestrial. Thank you to Cody Johnston's time machine noise, of course. Thank you to Pete for Pagel. Thank you. Thank you to Glitterous, CFO of Michael Shannon's Chocolate Factory.
Love that.
Not sure what that's about.
Love it.
Sure. Thank you to subscribe to Jason Pargin's Substack.
Hey.
It's not Jason Pargin behind that name. Thank you to the Midnight Patron. What patrons at midnight? Thank you very much.
Hey. Let me cut in here and say thank you, Exploding Runes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. Andrew, how?
Thank you.
Hey, Vincent.
Thank you.
Reverend MD or Rev MD. Thank you. Dr. DNA. Thank you.
Thank you.
Lauren Gucci.
Thank you.
Bootler Boodleson.
Thank you, Bootler.
You guys make it happen.
A lot of people are like plugging things in their shout outs.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird.
Hey, your culture is forming around your call outs. I don't know.
It's fucked up.
Embrace it.
Speaking of swole guys,
Yeah.
The Rock says he's not going to do another Fast and Furious.
You know, The Rock is actually reached, like, let's keep seeing where this goes. But, like, he's reaching, in my view, maximum velocity. Like, he's going to move faster than the universe at a certain point. He's getting too big to fail, like a giant rock.
I think he's always going to be like a Tom Cruise type in terms of his celebrity, where he's a real team player. Like, you ever see he'll do all the interviews, he'll do all the press junkets, he'll do it all with a smile. You know what I mean? Like he gives it his all. He has all the energy. He's a corporate team player.
He's so corporate.
He's a producer.
And I'm not saying, like, I do love The Rock. I do love him. He's so charismatic, and I love his story, and I think he's a genuine human being. The stories that I've heard that aren't like publicized, like just some, like our friend Nick Mundy, you know, from Teen Tire Awesome. He officiated his wedding. Why?
Yeah.
Why? Because Dwayne Johnson was just had enough interviews with him, because Nick Mundy was an interviewer at like Comic-Cons and stuff, and he had done it like enough times, like 3 or 4 times apparently is enough, that Nick's wife Delara basically came to him, The Rock, and said, do you want to like get involved in the wedding? He says, I'll do you better. I'll get official. I'll take a test online and I will officiate your wedding. And they surprised him with it. That sounds like something, and there wasn't a camera crew
fantastic
about
video.
Right. There was a video, but it's not like it made like the cycle of like...
Right.
It's hidden. That tells me something about the guy. But something inside me will always distrust this. Like, he is the most popular, most paid actor in the world, and has been for several years. The kind of thinking that must occupy...
Right.
Where you just say no to Fast and Furious, the biggest franchise on the planet, perhaps.
Well, I'll get into it, but I get I assume I know why he doesn't want to do Fast and Furious, but what worries me is like that hope of like, I hope he isn't getting, like, Tom Cruise joined a cult, you know? When you're like the biggest fucking thing in the world, like Michael Jackson, like shit can go really wrong.
It's just easy. You're so separated that you start believing it. I don't know if he's going to...
I hope, because he seems like such a team player. He does all the junk. He seems to genuinely enjoy doing that stuff. He seems like he enjoys what he does. He might just be a really good actor and really good at playing that part of himself. I just hope somewhere he's happy. And doing, and like, you know,
yeah, for sure,
grounded in some way. But yeah,
I think you need to be happy in order to want people to be happy and like not do horrible things. He's living
an impossible life.
Yeah, it's impossible. Who could imagine the success on that level?
But the Fast and the Furious, I get, because Vin Diesel is such a fucker. Well, and apparently they've had a lot of issues.
Maybe it's
and
that.
I think The Rock is just like, I don't need this.
Maybe it's that. Because here's the thing. This news is coming out specifically during Jungle Cruise is revving up their PR. That is weird to me. If it was in between movies, that says one thing. But it's specifically now. It's not like he's saying yes or no to a Fast and Furious franchise right now. You know? Like, so it's a little weird to me just because... Like, you're probably right. I may be thinking too darkly about this. It may just be, you know, like, I've done enough of that and it's time to move on. But a part of me always thinks, like, when you get to that level, and The Rock, over the time that the Fast and Furious franchise has been here, it's enough to me that, he could perhaps say to this, I'm not the star, so why should I do it? And that just really feels like... That really feels true to me, just based off the movies that he's been choosing, and like it's like the movies surround him now. Not that they didn't ever, you know, like at a certain point.
Absolutely, it's one of those things. Is like, you know, this is like Will Smith or Tom Cruise as a writer. Oddly enough, one of the biggest headaches that I can imagine is someone saying your script, it's now starring The Rock. Because
Yeah,
that means,
'cause you're like,
it's not
I'm
going to be
gone
anything like my script. Yeah,
So
I'm gone.
I'm now a scribe. I have the role
Yeah.
of a scribe.
Exactly. And so, yes, these are people who are bigger than their films. Certain ones, like Tom Cruise, I'd say is a good producer. But like Tom Cruise, like, yeah, all he does is Mission Impossibles and actions. He used to do real movies. The Rock, I think, never quite did that.
Yeah.
He was always doing these larger than life roles. Like, what is a movie he's been in where it's like, yeah, he's like where he's actually acting?
That's tough. There's a role that comes to my mind that he has a cameo in Fighting with My Family, but he's just playing himself. But he's just playing a real, like, no, can I be real for you for a second? Like, the way you're acting is creeping me out. Like, he's
This
like has
is,
a genuine. It's not like Jumanji or something.
Right. This is why I love the movie Southland Tales.
Right.
Because we're never going to see The Rock in a movie like that ever again.
Never again.
Doom, Be Cool, that era, that was when he was actually like seeing what he could do, you know?
Right. And
now it seems like I think he just likes, again, it's the fact that he also likes the junkets. It feels like he likes the life. He likes the industry.
I think he understands coming from pro wrestling and just that lifestyle of like making your mark by in like being there, just being there. I think he's had a lot of like if you follow him on social media and stuff like that, he's big into that. He's just like, I wake up every morning at 3:30 a.m. and I eat 18 tons of fish, and then I go and I work out, and that's what I have to do in order to keep this whole body going. But then after that, all of my time is spent networking with people, talking to people, like getting boots on the ground with whatever movie I'm doing. He's just like, there's no me time.
Is similar.
Yeah,
I think Schwarzenegger's similar. They're workaholics who don't like. I don't think he cares about the art side. He just likes being a star and doing fun shit.
Yeah.
Like that is centered around him. That's why the movies I'm most curious about that he's going to be in is Black Adam, which is a DC film. I suspect that'll just be The Rock. The Rock's thing, because DC doesn't, they're just desperate. The one that really worries me is he's still connected to Big Trouble in Little China, the remake. And I'm like, no.
No. Why are you
Why
there?
would you do that?
Yeah. It's I mean, he just seems so endearing, and maybe it's a spell, maybe it's not a spell. I can't say. Everyone make up their own decision. Obviously, we're talking about it, which is a whole other thing, because why do we care? But when it comes down to it, because he's so ubiquitous and just everywhere, and he's with us, and we all kind of like him, I always have that fear. There's always something in the back of my brain that goes like, he's the tip of the spear of a thing that is actually detestable, which is the Hollywood propagandist machine. And I know I sound like a crazy person, but he's got a lot of power, man. He can do what he wants. And with that power, comes great responsibility, I think. Yep.
It would be fun to see him do something that's more like this is why I really enjoy the movie Eyes Wide Shut, because Tom Cruise was on top of the world. He's a superstar, and it's like who could fucking rein him in? Kubrick.
That's another maniac.
Yeah, another maniac who's bigger than him, who'd be like, yeah, you're going to do what I say.
Yeah.
So, like, I want The Rock to be humbled in some way. He's doing a Shane Black movie. That sounds like it might be a fucking amazing.
That's going to be amazing.
Because Shane Black's the kind of guy
he takes the wind out of everyone's sails, even his own.
Exactly. And like, I think The Rock has that sense of humor. He has a sense of humor about himself.
Oh yeah,
he'll probably have a lot of fun.
Pain
with
and
that.
Gain,
so, like,
other guys, like he's well trodden in that. Like
Hobbs and Shaw, he's doing a good job. Yeah. So I think that's the thing about The Rock is it's almost like he's too perfect, where it's like he's a superstar, but he also seems to have a sense of humor, and he'll choose things that are a little ambitious.
More in the category of perfect, and that scares me.
Yep.
The Rock scares me because he's too perfect.
Scares us all. Yeah. Well, let's talk about the fact that there's going to be a sequel to The Tomorrow War.
Woo!
Abe, did you see The Tomorrow War?
I did.
What'd you think?
Movie.
3 stars, 4 stars, 5 stars?
Out of how many stars?
Out of 5 stars.
Out of 5
4 stars, 4 or 5?
2.5.
Yep, that checks out. Yeah, the Tomorrow War was like depressed me because of how mediocre it was.
Yeah, and that's just the filmmaking was fine. I mean, it was fine.
It was fine.
That's most of the 2.5 stars.
The writing
really mediocre and like felt. I mean, I know it's hard to make a movie during quarantine, especially a movie like this. You just see it. You just see it. I'm sorry. You can tell that no one really was interacting a lot of the time.
There's gigantic plot holes, not much character development, really phoning it in bullshit.
Yeah.
It just, like, when I reviewed it with Tom, he was trying to reassure me, like, oh, they won't make another. And then this news. And it's like, fuck. So it actually also did really well.
It did really well.
And that's the part that's such a bummer.
The high concept still works. It will never not work. Until we have like a revolution where it's like a movie comes out that like really puts that to task and says like the opinion that everyone should have is that we should stop having these high concept like fantasies and sci-fis, and like the entire populace starts to be turned by that. Like that happens sometimes. You get something like Shaun of the Dead, and people go, yeah. Why do all zombie movies look the same? I like zombie movies that aren't the same. And then all of a sudden, you have 10 years of zombie movies not looking the same. Why? Because a seminal film will like ignite an idea in people's head. Until we have that, Tomorrow War will always do well.
Yeah, blockbuster sci-fi. It's just, let's make the aliens like beasts. And add time travel. Like, we literally have made this movie before.
We just have to make it look like it looks like the thing you saw.
It such
can't
a
be
bummer.
Like, what are those other ones? Like, it can't be like Battlefield Los Angeles or whatever that's called. It can't be like Skyline. Those feel too low budget for us to go like, well, yeah, it looks good. It has all like the alien stuff. It looks like it probably is good, but there isn't like a Harrison Ford types. There isn't like The Rock isn't in it. There's no Chris Pratt, and so that's one thing. The camera and the CG doesn't look as refined as like, I don't know, Rampage or whatever is the pinnacle of the years previous CG. If it doesn't look like that, it's not. People put it in their mind as like something else, but Tomorrow War did look like the new installment of the best CG. It had the top stars, you know? Yeah.
I don't think it did, though. I think Chris Pratt is one of those people. Maybe, I guess he is, because it worked really well. He's just it's so mediocre.
It's so mediocre, but he's huge. He's A-list. What are you talking about?
Incredibly mediocre.
He's one of the biggest stars on the planet.
A-list, but he's going to be one of those stars that, like, as far as I can tell, is not going to be remembered. Like, he occupies that space of movies that make a lot of money in the moment and are not going to be remembered.
Name someone.
He's just maybe except for Guardians of the Galaxy, but like he's the ultimate like generic white guy.
Yeah,
funny but not too edgy.
That's
in
his superpower.
Movies
You're
that
saying
are,
it seems like it's a negative thing. That is his superpower. In Hollywood, that is
I know. It's a plus for him. It's more for me of like I know why they do this, because of money. They like money, and they're getting their money.
Sure.
Yeah.
I
not
see
a
what you're
mystery.
saying.
It's just
I see what you're
depressing.
saying. The logic is very sound. Like you picked it apart very nicely, and I think you're right about some crucial things. I just think that the scale is what kills your argument. He will be remembered because he is remembered. He is a phase. Yes, we forget phases, and he will then become like no one's talking about Humphrey Bogart, like no one's talking. But we have never seen anything like this last 10 years. Every 10 years is new, and he's a part of this 10 years, and he's huge in it. Yeah, maybe we'll definitely study like the next story that we're about to talk about, like Jordan Peele, for example. We're going to remember Jordan Peele because he artistically changed things. Right. And Chris Pratt didn't artistically change things with his performances. He was indicative of his time. We'll probably remember him for like Parks and Rec and stuff. But
I don't even know. I think he's going to be like I'm trying to think of a good comparison, like a Ted Danson, although that feels insulting to Ted Danson. I look at Chris Pratt's filmography, and there's maybe like 2 movies that'll last, like 60 years worth of memories, a generation worth of memories, and then it's just going to sort of vanish. And like that's not necessarily like like that metric is flawed because I'm judging things by a very weird, like how, because what matters is right now.
Right.
And right now he's in all the hits, and it's nothing against him. It's just that it's more comes down to the fact that when he's in a movie, if it's not a Marvel movie, that's a great indicator for me that the movie's going to be probably mediocre. Not always. Onward was good, but for the most part, it's just these types of movies are exhausting to me because they're so mediocre. They
really are.
Just eke by, and it's depressing, and they're so transparent.
And the whole Time War thing, what's crazy about it is that I actually really liked Edge of Tomorrow, Live, Die, Repeat.
Yeah, that's a good movie.
It's Groundhog Day and all that. They did not use the time. Like, I know we're not supposed to talk about Tomorrow War just as a podcast right now, but by not using the time aspect, but we're using it in one instance, just with like the fact that it's his daughter. Like, there's no repeatability in this. Like, we're gonna get two completely new like.
Yes, what the hell is the sequel going to be?
What is Tomorrow War 2? Think about that. If you've seen the movie, think about it for a second.
It's going to be, the aliens are back. That's it.
Yeah.
That's what it's going to be.
And it's equally which is hilarious because spoilers for Tomorrow War. I don't think you'd care even if you haven't seen it and you're planning on seeing it. You won't care, I don't think. But spoilers. They landed on the planet a long time ago and we kill them in the course of the movie. It's over. We wrapped it up. The whole point is not one can get out, and we do that. So the only idea that they can do is more of the same. We're like, there was an egg or something, which I guess it's just
exhausting.
it's going to be the most lazy excuse for a sequel, and that's exactly what you would expect out of a sequel of Tomorrow War.
Yeah.
Story-wise, I'm not saying that craftsmanship, acting, there's a lot of good work being done in those movies.
Yes, but as a script, it's lazy as shit.
I mean, J.K. Rowling in the last 5 minutes, J.K. Simmons in the last 5 minutes of that movie, fucking almost worth the price of admission. It's fucking great.
He's always good.
But, it's not.
Swole J.K. Simmons. All right, our last story, and this is actually something like a high note for me.
Yes.
They've released the poster of Jordan Peele's new film. It's called Nope. The poster is fucking what looks to be an evil cloud over a...
with some... Yeah, it seems like it's...
with a streamer in it over a city.
I think it's like eating a part of the thing below it, which looks like a circus or some kind. Like, it seems like there might be banner, like the bunting... It's got a little streamer of like a bunting thing. You hang on like a party or something like that. Multicolored little flags.
Right.
I think it's a dark cloud that's eating stuff, or something from the below part, like the city or whatever that is hiding in a cloud.
Right.
But it definitely is ominous and implying that there's something huge because the cloud's pretty big.
Yeah. Everything we were saying about horror, this is why I love Jordan Peele, because he actually does go, like, the poster on this says a new terror from the mind of Jordan Peele.
Yes.
I agree. Because he tends to actually say, what's a horror villain we haven't seen before? Doppelgangers. And it's like, holy shit, what a good idea. Mm-hmm. What a terrifying idea. Or, it's
just a new terror. It's not a scare. It's a terror.
Yeah.
I love that.
And so I love whatever this is, whatever he came up with of the new, because I think Stephen King is good at this too. I think horror, I think horror is sometimes at its best or at its wildest when it starts from the idea of like, I'm going to think, I don't know, what if it's a car? So, and then you work from there.
Here's the thing. Okay, keep going.
No, that's it. I love horror like this.
I love horror like this, and the thing that I'm most excited about now, because there's so many few details, and I'm glad you brought up the poster. But the most important thing to me is Jordan Peele's fascination and absolute knocking it out of the park with names of his movies so far, because he never is not intentional, and that's what makes him a very strong artist. He knows that Nope, as on its own, is mimetic in its it's like there's a mimetic engine that runs like language and culture, right? And he's taking advantage of and acknowledging that is there. He's, we have these memes of language all the time in comedy. Like the one that we always talked about like 10 years ago was something like, that's not a thing, or something like that, until a bunch of like other properties took, that's not a thing. And now it's literally a thing that people in comedies will say that line. Nope. And internet culture have this convention that's ascribed to them. You nope the fuck out of something. You say nope and you back away. You can see the endless stream of GIFs and all the things in the conventions that we say nope. It's like calling a movie like this in the same, if it was contextually and constructed in a way to be like, identify like there's an internet component to it. If I just said this, you already know what the type of post that would be or something like that. It's because of the mimetic quality of language. Now, nope, and choosing nope, just like this is us and Get Out. Like he's clearly doing like this short, curt thing that is anthemic to his thesis, functionally his main dramatic argument of the movie. You know that nope is going to be the reaction someone has, or as a group collectively, the actors and characters in this movie are going to have that response to something. So he has just given us a promise. He's promised that you're going to want to nope the fuck out of this movie.
Well, but also
That's
that
fantastic.
it might, but what will it mean? Like Us was very similar, because when you watch Us, you're like, it kind of ends and you're like, oh, Us. Because it usually has different layers.
It has layers.
Man, it's us, our doppelgangers.
Fantastic.
And then when you realize when Us is about, I think specifically about homelessness, but also just people who are disenfranchised that we ignore, it's the new level of like, they're us.
Right, exactly.
Like they're
us.
human beings too.
It's
us.
multifunctional and faceted. In the same way, I bet at one point, if it's not beating us over the head in the film, like however the style and the tone of the film is, if it's not abrasive to do, there'll be something like the following two things. At some point, someone's going to see something that is probably the monster and going to go, nope, just because that's a comedic moment. Also, I bet at the Act 3 break or somewhere around that, some character is going to have a choice where they can decide to keep doing the thing that will probably, just like cause the systemic problem to keep terrorizing us, or they're going to have just the simple choice of going, nope, I'm not going to do that. And that's probably going to solve the movie and give us hope. It's great. Like, I'm not saying these things are going to happen. They probably won't, and I'm just off base and I'm just spinning my wheels here. But like, the idea is that he knows how to push this. He's given it to us just in the title. There's a lot to think about here. And he's also given us an image where we're like, this is a mystery. God damn, I love that so much more than the way in which we market literally any other movie. The guy knows what he's doing. He's so good.
He's really good. He's like the anti-Shyamalan.
Yes.
Where Shyamalan is like old and everybody's like, fucking Christ.
Fuck. Jesus,
but
man.
It's the same function.
But old.
It makes me wonder if Jordan Peele in 10 years from now is going to be irritating us all.
Yeah. I mean, it is.
But so far, so good.
Yeah, like, I hope that for him, because that means he will be so pervasive in our cultural consciousness that he will be like in our DNA in society.
Yeah, that would be great.
Imagine being that type of person. You were legendary. Yeah. I hope for
and
him
imagine that would
status.
be elevating. That would be elevating art, because if in the 10 years from now people are like, I'm going to do something like Jordan Peele, but now I'm going to subvert it or elevate it. It's like, that's amazing.
That's fuck yeah.
Because right now what he's doing feels extremely fresh. So yeah,
I say yes to nope. All right, this is bad.
All right. We got some more people to thank.
Dude.
We got to wrap this up.
Let's go.
Big thanks to Tux. Thank you, Tux.
Woo.
Thank you to Ricky Cilantro. Always a pleasure. Thank you to Norm from Cheers. Thank you. Thank you to Space McNulty.
Woo.
Thank you to Oh Great, It's That Guy. Thank you to Nolan Mayton. Thank you to Vaccinated Man, Andrew McGuire. Thank you to AJ. Thank you to Tip Drizzle.
Ooh, Burrio Mouth. Ooh, yeah.
Thank you.
Mrs. Voidus.
Thank you.
The Ghost of Dave Thomas.
Thank you.
Aaron Burser.
Thank you.
David Knifeboot. Hinson.
Knifeboot.
MBA. CPA.
Thank you.
Hey, Christopher Robert Sparts Esquire. Thank you.
Thank you.
And also, let's not forget Mackenzie Fuck Shuffling with Willem Dafoe's confusingly large dick. Chill.
Thank you.
Thank you. Vaccinated Jay. Hell yeah.
Thank you.
Pie Guy.
Thank you. Oh, Abe.
Yes.
Abe.
Yeah?
Cut the shit.
What?
And let me tell you about a movie that deserves more hype.
Oh, fuck.
That was fine. I'm actually on the fence about this movie, but this is called John in the Hole.
Of course.
Bad title.
I thought you were all about this title, but
It's funny.
bad title.
It's a funny title.
Very strange for what if you watch the movie and you realize, oh, this is what this is about, and then you think about the
sounds like
movie.
a James and the Giant Peach
Yeah,
type
it's
title.
like it seems
this
more
is coming
serious
out-
than the title.
Yes, this is coming out August 6th on streaming, I think in theaters. It's about a 13-year-old kid who finds an old bunker in his backyard. And for no reason that the movie at least explains, or the reviews seem to say, he drugs his family and puts them in the hole.
Yep.
And starts like living like a Home Alone life where he's like, like trying to exist on his own.
And there's a shot in the trailer that looks like he has killed a fellow boy in a pool at one point, and he's moving the body. So it's pretty clearly he's a psychopath. No one knows about it, so we got to talk about Kevin a little bit. And also, he's doing horrifying things. And I feel like most of the movie is going to be them in the hole, and he's going to be like, puts lotion on the skin or whatever, because he's going to be weirder than the trailer allows. And they're going to just try to be like, why though? Why are you doing this? And then we're probably going to reveal that he had some very traumatic history.
Yeah, I could see that. I'm
probably
very curious about this because the reviews are very mixed. Also, Michael C. Hall's in it. He's the dad who gets in the hole.
Which is
the reviews are very mixed,
perfect.
and I've seen some people saying like it's going to be like a very divisive. You're either going to really like it, or you're going to hate it.
Really hate it. Yeah, it sounds like that. More and more things are going down that line. The casting of Michael C. Hall is so smart. I fucking love it.
Yeah, because he's the Dexter.
He's the fucking Dexter. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. He's also in 6 Feet Under.
I think this does need more hype. Strange name aside, and marketing aside, that usually doesn't deter me from just looking at a series of images in a 2-minute format and going like, that looks like I'll watch
this.
Yeah, I think I will watch this, and I think I didn't know about this, so you are showing it to me, and so thank you.
Yeah, people take out the trailer, Google John in the Hole or John's Hole, whatever. It probably doesn't matter. Yeah. But yeah, it's just weird that this is coming out soon, and it's not even it's IFC film, so it's not like a small movie
August,
or anything.
Early August is when it comes out.
Check it out.
I love your summary of, because you actually gave us a log line in our little doc we have here, and you wrote, this is not the official log line, this is the Dave log line. Kid has hole, kid puts family in hole. It reads as more instructions, Dave, than than anything else, or like a recipe. I don't know. I worry about you, Dave.
Yeah. I worry about me too. It's fine.
Hey, that's actually moderately healthy. We should worry about ourselves.
Yeah, fuck it.
Fuck it. Worry about yourself, better yourself, get hype about yourself. You know what I mean?
Get hype about yourself. Abe, thank you so much for doing this,
dude,
with me.
I just hope I'm still nervous. I'm like shaking over here. I just hope I didn't fuck it up.
No, you did great. Without Tom, though, every podcast I've been doing has been roughly 2 hours.
Yeah, I could have been a better.
It's almost.
I could have been a better co-host.
Serves that use.
I could have.
No, it's okay.
I'm
This
just
has been
excited because here I won't take too much time with it, but as an aside, all of our friends have podcasts. We don't have a podcast, but I always never ask you to
You're
do
right.
a podcast.
We don't have a podcast,
and we're like
together.
really good buddies, man. Like especially
Yeah.
during quarantine, we really came into our own. We made a video game together. What a great time!
We'll do a podcast.
But I always stop myself anytime I have an idea because I'm like that guy need more work. He should be spending time with Hana. You know, like there should be like, you should have your own life. You shouldn't have to be like, oh, another podcast to hang out. But I want an excuse to hang out with you, my man.
I think at one point we'll make a podcast for sure.
Yeah, we'll find a reason.
Or we'll just we'll just hang out. Let's go see Old this weekend. So we're gonna see Old.
Fucking old, baby. I'm so excited.
Old.
Oh,
Hey,
it's good.
first, you need to plug some stuff before we leave.
Yeah, okay, cool. I want to plug a show that you do. I know that sounds weird, but like it's one of our biggest shows for both of us and it's doing well. So hopefully if you haven't checked out, you will based off this suggestion. It's called Star Trek: The Next Futurama, and it's a collaboration from collaboration that gives you this podcast you're listening to right now, just on this episode, which is Small Beans, where I come from, in Gamefully Unemployed, which you know. You can go to our Patreons and get half of this series, depending on who you patronize. And you can, like, if you are patrons to both, you get the full series, and it's where you and my fellow cohort, Michael Swaim, dissect Futurama and Star Trek per episode. I'll give you that. I won't go into like more, but that
Sure.
I'm really excited. It's one of my favorite podcasts to date, and it's coming. There's an episode out today. There's an episode out today, Friday today.
Yeah, check it out.
Yeah,
It's
so
on-
check it
it's
out.
on
After you check this out, go check that out.
or check that out first.
Yeah, and visit Small Beans. That's where I'm from. I'm Abe Epperson. Hey.
Hey,
Hey.
you did great.
Thanks.
You did great. Yeah, I feel like I don't even have to plug Gamefully Unemployed.
Right.
Patreon.com/Gamefully Unemployed. Also, a weird thing. If you just go to www.gamefullyunemployed, it'll redirect you to our store,
You did the DNS thing?
I guess.
Wait, oh, okay. It was just you
it
don't
doesn't
know why it
redirect.
happened.
You literally just it sends you to a shitty GoDaddy website.
Oh, great.
That I made in 5 seconds that has a link to the store.
I'm going to
because
it.
I couldn't figure out how to redirect it.
I'm going
actually.
to it right after this.
Our store is gamefully dash unemployed.creator-spring.com, which is why I made the handy www.gamefullyunemployed. We just moved it. From TeePublic
get that
to
merch.
Teespring. If you want any of that merch, there's nothing new there. There is a sale going on, 20% off, I believe, with the offer code SHEEV until the end of July.
I might
So
use
check that
this.
out.
You got some sick ass drip, dude. G's
Thank
got
you.
some good drip.
Good drip. We're drippy.
You drippy all up in
We're
this.
drippy. We're drippy boys.
What a hype cast, you know?
What a hype cast.
It was long, but I was hyped the whole way.
Yeah, and Tom, we miss Tom.
Miss you, Tom.
Can't wait for Tom to be back. And so this is where Tom would say goodbye, everyone. And then I would say goodbye.
And then he'd probably say something like, "That's a sode."
Yeah, he'd say that's a sode.
Love you.
And then you have to say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Our music is produced by Chris Corlew. You can follow him on Twitter at @thecorlew, CORLEW, and find more music at shipwreckedsailor.bandcamp.com. Our artwork is produced by Justin Brown. You can follow him on Twitter at @JustinTBrown, and find more of his artwork at artnessbyjustinbrown.com and justinbrown.info.